Everybody, Beth here. It is May 3rd, which is World Press Freedom Day, and I want to talk about two competing narratives on why this day is important for Afghan journalists. The first is from Richard Líndzí, the UK Special Envoy for Afghanistan, who tweeted today that he wanted to highlight the importance of freedom of expression and said that last week he had met with Afghan journalists, quote, who continue vital work in difficult circumstances, highlighting the concerns and interests of Afghan people and giving a voice to those who need it most, which is certainly an interesting take on what it's like to cover Afghanistan while the Taliban have a stranglehold on media and do not let you cover anything that they don't want to have put out. But that's okay. Here we have then UN Special Rapporteur Richard Bennett talking about the day, and he said at least 4 journalists and media workers continue to be detained in Afghanistan. He calls for their release and the release of all other people arbitrarily detained in Afghanistan. Now, that's a much more accurate diagnosis of what happens when you do not follow the Taliban's regulations as a media worker in Afghanistan. And being detained by the Taliban, by all accounts, is a harrowing experience. I urge anyone who wants to understand more about media under the Taliban to watch any number of episodes that the Afghanistan Project has done with journalists, the most recent of which was from January 26th, with Hashdi Sub, or 8 a.m. media editor Hussein Haidari, who vividly describes what it was like when the Taliban burst in on their office and had issues with the way that they had portrayed fighters in an article. I also want to go back to Richard Líndzí just to conclude this video because I think I have a feeling as to why he tweeted the way he did about journalists. The tweet before this was from April 30th, where he talks about how he just returned from Kabul, where he had, quote, important meetings with senior Taliban ministers. He then goes on to say he talked about de-escalation with Pakistan, about girls returning to school, and about women being allowed to work. So if, as I suspect, Richard Líndzí thinks that by talking to the Taliban and not attempting to aggravate them by diagnosing them as the source of problems, that perhaps they will do what he wants and let girls back to school and let women back to work. I think he needs to re-examine the last 5 years where other world leaders have wasted time and effort attempting to do the same thing. I think right now what we really need to do is diagnose accurately the source of almost all of Afghanistan's problems, which is the Taliban.